Can you tell us something about that?
Definitely. One of our focused areas these days is really, we feel that there's a lot to be done on the workplace area in terms of making it more vibrant, a more engaging and inspiring workplace. And we feel that the key here is really leadership. The way leaders manage and motivate, inspire, develop, and so on and so forth, grow their people. That's why one of the other programs we have institutionalized is we're using an international standard of best practices to make organization relate whether they are consistent with international best practice in terms of people management skills.
Right.
Or practices. This is one of the things we call it Investors in People framework. We're using that framework to give a mirror to organizations, say, are you doing best practices in people management?
Okay. Can you give us some example of these best practices?
Okay, I'll give you one example. One best practice is are people recognized in the workplace?
Okay.
Very much aligned with what you're doing in the show. It has been discovered that one of the top reasons why people leave organizations is because they feel they're not recognized. In
Very
the
true.
and we're not really talking about money here. We're just
Yes.
looking at simple recognition. Whenever I do something outstanding, is this given attention to?
Okay.
Because most of the time, what is given attention to in organizations is when you're doing something wrong. Okay, so it's the
How
reverse.
true, how true, how
Okay,
true.
so I
True,
think this is where we need to
okay.
do a little shifting of the mindset, and
that's
just
great.
one example of the many practices that should be in place to make people management more sounder.
I was happy to hear that the focus is on leadership, because if you don't have good leaders, automatically the company will definitely suffer. It's really the leaders that make the difference, right?
Definitely,
Is that what you're saying?
we believe so. Yes.
So okay, what other things do you do to help leaders become better in their job?
Oh, there's so many ways of doing that. Leaders can take up courses. They can hire executive coaches. We recommend those, or mentors. There's a lot of organizations now trying to combine classroom with off-classroom experiences for leadership development.
Do you have what do you call this, courses that just conceptualized or produced by PMAP, and you tell all of these companies, hey guys, I've got this for leaders. Do you do those?
Oh
things?
yes, definitely.
We do that.
We run about 12 different kinds of courses every month in our center, in our office in Mandaluyong.
Okay.
So from managing people to managing building values, everything that you need to know about people management, we're offering in the center, in the PMAP center.
Okay. Meaning to say, if I am a company, okay, do I have to be a member of PMAP to be able to access?
To avail?
Yes.
No, you don't have to be.
I ask this because there are also many entrepreneurs.
That's right.
Okay. I don't really have a personal head.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's a
That's
small
right.
company.
The
and
entrepreneur is the HR head himself in a small
yes,
organization.
he's the president, he's the HR
right.
head. So I can call up your institution and say, look, I need what type of training do you have available?
Yes.
And you tell them, it's like a school.
That's right. As a matter of fact, Caloy, just for your information, in our annual conference is coming September 23 to 25 at Sofitel Hotel. We will have one exclusive satellite conference for people management in SMEs, for small family-owned organizations. So we would like to capture how does HR practice look like in a small family-owned organization as compared to big multinationals. So we will have a devoted session precisely for that. And this is where the entrepreneur owners and HR managers at the same time will find it beneficial to attend.
You mentioned satellite. What do you mean? Is it transmitted? And is it
no. It's a concurrent. Yeah. That's right. Just separate from the main events. Yes.
So, all right, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Something? I think beyond the training, what is important right now is what we're really promoting is people to apply sound people management practices. And before, for a long time, in the absence of this framework that we're now using, Investors in People, before there was no 2020 vision of what we were trying to develop in terms of how sound people management looks like. But now we have that so that we can focus all our efforts towards moving in a clearer vision of what we want to be. to see in terms of an ideal workplace.
Okay, so your focus is really to have an ideal workplace.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is where all the practices come in. I mentioned recognition earlier. The other practices include, are people inspired in their workplace? Do they have inspiring leadership?
Okay.
Are they given opportunities to develop, to grow? Are they empowered? Because you can develop them, but if you don't give them freedom to do their jobs, they will also, be very frustrated.
Right.
And so on and so forth. So these are the things that need to be in place in an organization for organizations to really unleash the human potentialities of people. This is where human development comes in.
Right. That's very interesting. I worked in a multinational company, and we were also given a lot of that kind of training. But during my time, that's a long time ago, there wasn't any talk about creating the ambience, the spirit that will make it conducive for people to work there or to want to stay there.
That's right.
Like I was telling you a while ago, I got an email from somebody, says a girl, she's a middle manager, and she was telling me she's bored.
Yes.
Okay, she's been working for 5 years in that company. According to her, she's been excelling. Okay, she grew up the ranks. She's bored and she's looking for a job. I mean, so what can leaders do to maintain the good people? I mean, other than recognition, there's something else that make them feel that hey, they belong.
That's right. And that's a classic example you're mentioning about really understanding what people needs are.
Right.
In this particular case you're mentioning, boredom is usually associated with the nature of the job the person is doing, and if it's repetitive, it's routine, then eventually the person outgrows the job and it becomes bored, as we say.
Correct.
And he needs to, or he or she needs to be able to enrich or to excite himself or herself again. And usually what happens in organizations is jobs are not really managed that way. Jobs are not grown depending on the capability of people. Very few organizations would do that. That's also part of sound practice. Now, what I would suggest to this person probably is she takes the initiative to enrich her job.
Okay, that's very interesting. I read something about that. Sometimes we have no choice. I mean, that's our job. I mean, we don't have any job at the moment, so, and everybody's looking for happiness. I think that is the key.
That's right.
How do I work 8 hours a day, I travel, I go there, almost 16 hours, 10, 12 hours spent in our workplace.
That's right.
And how do you bring that joy in the workplace? I think that is what people are also looking for. So I'm glad to know that there is such a group that you can call and say, look, I think my company needs a little energy. And do you have consultants? I mean, can people come and say, I need your advice what to do?
Of course, for those who are members of the organization, they usually get a lot of free advice. That's part of the benefit of becoming a member of the organization, because we have a pool of specialists in various fields in HR in the organization.
So, do you have, let's say, meetings where there's exchange of ideas and how?
Oh, definitely. Aside from our annual conference, which happens yearly, we have a monthly general membership meeting. Right now, we have scheduled one in May 27. Even if you're a non-member, you can be free to attend our meetings and see for yourselves what we do there. We do a lot of discussions of these things, and this is just over lunch, and you just pay for lunch.
Okay, all right.
So that's how it goes.
Very interesting, because I've been getting also a lot of, there are so many small, medium scale companies, presidents, who don't really know how to handle their people. And I think more so, and can anybody join your company? Are there any requirements?
Oh yes, there are requirements, but people are free to join us. We have a category called individual membership. So
Alright.
an entrepreneur
Okay.
of a small business can become an
Member.
individual member.
Okay.
You
Just
don't have
pays
to be.
annual.
Yeah, there's a
annual
minimal
fee.
annual fee. That gets paid. No? But that's basically. But because of that fee, you get a lot of publications, a lot of advice and network, which I think will be very valuable for one.
Jerry, you've been working here for 10 years, so
That's
it
right.
must be satisfying. I mean, you know.
I believe so. Yes.
What do you see that makes you happy that you are contributing something to make a
Okay.
world a better place to live in? What do you see?
Okay, from my perspective, I think by the very nature of our organization, the officers change every year. Probably the variety is something I like. Of course, for others, that's very stressful because you keep on changing, your officers and people you deal with. But for me, I find that very exhilarating. Probably that's where I get my source of energy.